22, Jesus said something very interesting that a lot of people don't know, and that is, he said, the Father judges no man. Everybody thinks they're going to get judged by the Father. Yeah. He says, and he's committed all judgment unto the Son. And then in John 12, Jesus says, in John 12:44, he says, Jesus cried and said, he that believeth on me, believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that seeth me, seeth him that sent me. I am the light I am come a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. So now you've got, the Father's not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you. He says, for I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. Yep. He that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words, he hath one that judgeth him. The word that I've spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. So, to me, what this is saying, the word that Jesus spoke right there is no different than the word that the Father gave to Adam in the beginning. He was saying, don't eat from that tree. And so now Jesus comes along and he says, listen, I didn't come here to condemn anybody. I came here to shine the light on the truth. And you're already in darkness. You're already in death. You're condemned already. Remembering in John 3, 16, 17, he said, God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world may be saved. He says, he that believeth not is condemned already. So Jesus came into a world that had the sentence of death on them. And he came to take that sentence off of them and give them life. So in the last day, the word that he spoke, which is the truth, that, listen, unless you believe on me, you can't have life, that's the word that's going to judge everybody. If they don't believe his word, they remain in death. If they believe his word, they have life. That is what I got.
That's awesome. And even one step further, it isn't going to be the word that will judge them. It's going to be that the word not being in their heart. It's the individual person's heart that judges. Yeah. So it's beautiful what Beulah points out, and that's exactly where that all goes. And I don't have time. There's so many things I could have gone to in that message. But the Father says he judges no man. He committed judgment unto the Son. He doesn't say now the Son will judge you. Right. What he's saying is there's a truth that's contained in the Son. When that truth is manifested, it will reveal the secrets of your heart. And what's in your heart will judge you. It'll either judge you unto life or judge you unto death. Yes. What's in your heart? Listen what Paul says in Acts 13:46. Then Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said, it was necessary that the word of God should first have been spoken to you, but seeing ye put it from you, and judge yourselves unworthy of everlasting life, lo, we turn to the Gentiles. And so what he's saying is these guys judge themselves unworthy of life. And you see it in 1 John, where it talks about if our heart condemns us. Right? It talks about the heart condemning, a person's conscience condemning. Why do we need our conscience purged from sin? By the blood. Because our conscience would condemn us. Who condemned Adam? Adam's heart judged him. God didn't judge him, nor did what God say judge him. His heart judged him. God just described what would happen in the day he ate from that tree. And then Adam's heart judged him. Because a heart filled with iniquity condemns itself. Yeah. It condemns itself. You're confounded, you're confused, you're ashamed, you feel naked. But your heart did that. God didn't do it.
Exactly.
Jesus didn't do it.
Yeah.
And all they did was say that that's what that will do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's true to say that this word will judge you. But even that, you got to break it down. That word won't judge you in the sense of,
Yeah.
that word will declare a truth. And the truth that that word declares, its judgment will be revealed to be so.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The word, what was the word Jesus spoke? In the day you believe on iniquity for life, and that you have iniquity as your heart instead of faith, that will serve you with death.
Mm.
His judgment is true. But he doesn't judge for or against people. And I'm going to get into this next week. But God, in the day Jesus comes, he's coming to save all people. He's coming to love and to save and to give life. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's the only way he knows.
Yeah.
The same Jesus that came the first time is the one that's coming the second time. He's the same God that's always been. God's always come to save. He's always come to give life. He's always come because he loves. God so loved the world that he sent his son. What was Jesus busy with saying all the time? I say and do nothing that I don't see my Father say and do.
Yep.
Now, Samaria, they rejected Jesus in Luke chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Samaria, when you look in the Old Testament, was called the sister of Sodom and Gomorrah. And in fact, it would have been like a parallel on the geographical landscape to where Sodom and Gomorrah was. And so the Samaritans, if you go read Luke 9, they reject Jesus.
Yeah.
And look what the disciples say, who would have been well versed in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sure.
James and John. What shall we do, Lord? Shall we call down fire upon them that they be consumed? They had a view of Sodom and Gomorrah that was like our view.
Mm-hmm.
That God rained down fire to destroy them. And look what Jesus says. He says, man, you don't know what spirit you are of. The Son of Man did not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them.
Right.
Now, what did Jesus say? I do nothing and say nothing apart from having seen my Father say and do it. So what is he saying?
Same thing the Father said.
That the Father can only come to save men's lives, not destroy men's lives. Now, because we for so long misunderstand the gospel, we think that means, well, then no one will be destroyed. That's not what it means. God's not the one who destroys.
Mm-hmm.
So then the fact that he doesn't come to destroy doesn't mean no one will be destroyed. Because when he comes to love, and he comes to save, and he comes to give life, if you have iniquity dwelling in your heart, that iniquity will produce death in you in the presence of life.
Right.
You'll be consumed by iniquity.
Yeah.
Even though he came to love you, even though he came to save you, even though he came to give you life, if you rejected that, and then that life comes, and the fullness of that life manifests, man, death can't stand in the presence of that life anymore. And if you've now joined yourself as one with death, you're going to find the fullness of death manifesting in you in the presence of life, even though life came to save.
Mm. Mm.
You know, it's like